For this video, we're taking new off-roader. Was going to be the wheel horse, but I kind of broke it a little more than I meant to. And this engine went into my grass cutting engine. That engine needs a new set of rings, which is now in this. And this engine is in this, so this is now going to go back into that. That's going to go into this. And it's all the same engine. It's I believe they're both actually. Yep, both 12.5 Briggs. This one just smokes a lot, as the video on Instagram. Yes, on the video on Instagram it wasn't that, and that's what was smoking was this. This is going into that, so if I blow it up, it don't really matter. And then the engine in this one, I painted it blue, is going in this one. And then I got owie, got snagged. And then we got, hopefully they're right here. They should be right here. Phone ringing. Going back outside. Phone noodles for actual protection on the roll cage. So I figured out how to actually do editing on videos. So I will take out this engine, because I think I have it wired and everything for push button and all that stuff. So I'm gonna take this one out, and then I'm gonna show that one, and then I'm gonna show putting it in also, because this wiring harness is the same as that, which came from this wiring harness, is actually in this one, because the engine from that is in that, which was now in that one. Yes, it's very confusing. So it's all plug and play. They're all the same Briggs singles horsepowers, so all the wiring harnesses will just plug right in together and all that stuff, and it would plug and play and go. But if you're doing a... Oh, my twin's gone. Jake took it. The twin was sitting right there. Like if you're doing a twin, you're gonna have to rewire it, and I was gonna show that, but like I said, Jake just took the twin. So taking this one out, putting that one in that one, and I'll get back to you guys whenever I get them out. So I kind of realized that I would rather have and show how to do it on this one than that one, because this one has the full cage and this one is actually pretty open. So how I wired this one is actually really simple. I just took the big power wire, ran it up. I had a car battery sitting right there, and then I had a car battery. I drilled holes into the lead posts and put bolts in them, and that's how I had those on. So I just had the positive always connected, and then the ground I just hit to a ground wire that I had on the frame. So I just tapped it, and that's how I started it. I mean, it's not the safest, but it works, and they didn't say anything about it, so all I had to do was just put a ratchet strap around it to hold it in place. But to take out the engines, there's one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt here, one bolt up front underneath. They usually don't have the caps on them. I just put those on because the threads were gone, so it wasn't really threading through, so I just shoved a bolt up through and put a nut on top. But that's the main thing that takes out the bolts. You will have to push in the brake pedal for the one on that side, on the other side there, because the pulley's in the way. You have to push in the brake, and if you have two people, one person can just sit there and stand on the brake. But if you have only one person, I would put the brake depressor on and also a brick on it, just in case. Because I've had it once before where I had my wrench up there, and if I would have had my fingers in there, my finger would have been probably broke, because that is a real tight spring and it just springs back and clips whatever's in the way. And then my go fast string right here, you can just toss that up top. I just have it tied around the governor, and all you do is just pull it and make it go faster. The throttle cable, which I have 2 throttles. This is basically the foot pedal that everyone has. I just have it on a string. But all you need to do is, this is either a flathead or a socket, one of the two, and then it just pulls down and pulls out. There's usually clamps on here like this. You just pinch those and pull it off, and that's how you get the line off. Or they have the screw-on ones where you just unscrew it with the socket or screwdriver, and then you just pull the line off. And the pulley's underneath. I'll see if I can't get to it underneath here. Actually, I don't have a pulley on this one now that I think about it. It's sitting right here from the Derby when it fell off. But there's the shaft right here. There's usually a belt guard. This has just 2 posts going down for a belt guard. But there's a big hole, and then as you can see, there's a smaller hole on the outside here. You'll have to take the pulley off if you have the smaller hole, because you will not get the big deck pulley up and through. And so the bolt hole right there, that's actually stripped, so that's why the pulley fell off. But that's usually a 17. You get a monkey wrench, and let me see if I got one sitting over here. You get a monkey wrench in your socket. You put the monkey wrench around this shaft right here, and then you just take the bolt off. There's 2 different types. There's this one where the bolt just sits right on the bottom of the pulley. Then there's this kind where you need a washer for it, and it sits inside. As you can see, those little things sticking out, that's where the washer sits, and then it just screws up and inside. So you either have a short bolt or a really, really long bolt to go the whole way through, or just to go halfway through. So you either need an extension or just a normal socket, just depending on which set of pulleys you got on it. And then if you have factory wiring, there's plugs like this, which just plug into there, and then you have to take those off. Your headlight wires would also be here. You don't have to, but it's nice to take them off too, just so you don't have anything else connected. And then that's usually about it for wires and stuff. Unless you have a twin, then you have to do, especially the newer twins, they have electric fuel pumps or electric fuel shutoffs in the carburetor. So there's those wires and everything, but they're usually just bigger plugs like those. Usually. Every once in a while you'll get like 2-3 plugs on one engine, and it's kind of confusing. But that's how a single comes out. So you already seen the underside of the golden one there, and you could see that there was a plate in the way. There's not a plate in the way on this one. And this is like the indent one I was talking about, how the bolt goes up inside and everything, and now the other one sits on top. But I honestly don't know what's going on with this one, because it looks like it's welded and it won't actually come off the shaft. But you got steering in the way here. The gold one had little ovals where the bolts were, and you just had to turn the steering left and right. And here's the brake pedal one that I was talking about. You have to move it out of the way to put it in. The hole's right there. But I don't have one in there because it was too much of a pain to put in. Yeah, all good. Hood just slammed shut. I'm underneath it. And so you just have to push on the brake to move it out of the way. You can see the bolt holes right here, or right there is one of the 2 bolt holes that you use, depending on if you have a twin or a single. And then you just move the steering end out of the way, and then the bolt holes are right here, under there, and then one right up front. Where is it at? Oh, it's on the other side of the axle. There's one on this side, and then there's one on that side. And then the front end's like the gold one. They're just in the open. The back half is a little different because since there's no plate, you just have to go up and inside here. The gold one had the plate with ovals in it for where the bolts are. and those are 14s there. And then the big banging in the background is guns. My neighbors shoot guns all the time, so that's what they are doing. And then the big bang that you just heard on this one, this half, is the hood slamming shut on me, but I'm underneath so it didn't hurt me. But to take the belt off, because this one has the belt, you just push on the brake. What I do is I loosen all the bolts, I slide the whole engine back, push on the brake, and I pull it down here, and then if I have another person, I have them lift it and while I go around this pulley. But if I don't, I just put like bricks or something underneath it, blocks of wood, 4x4, something like that underneath, so it lifts the engine up, so this I don't have to go on an angle. But if you want to, you can also take just the transmission off, and it will have a lot of slop in it, and it will just come right off. But it depends on how you want to do it for the belt. So engine's out of this one, now in this one. This one is now in this one. All I would need to do now is just bolt it and put the belt on this one, and then bolt it down and put the belt on that one. These are the plug and plays that I was talking about. These just plug right in together. There's a little slit right there, and then 2 on each side there. And you can see right there the little triangles. So they just slide right in. Better two-handed. Alright. There you go. There. I'll plug and play. Then there's this one right here. It just slides like the last one, better two hands. But slides right in there like that. Headlight wire. And then this gets bolted on right here. Like that. And then you just tighten it down. And it's all minty goodness. And then this is my doing whenever I took the wiring harness out of the America over there. This is for the, I think this had an electric PTO, this mower here, so it only had that pop switch button thingy to activate it. So it didn't have like a lever, and since it didn't have a lever, and the other one did, it had a lever shut off, so you couldn't start the mower with the deck in the on position. So this is what that is, and that's why it's sitting here. I have it so whenever I put the gas tank on, like right there, it compresses it the whole time, so the safety switch is kinda done. And I could rewire it and just splice them all together, but why should I do that whenever I have perfect like activation switch right there? And then it just bolts down right there. Put a bolt nut through it right there. Same thing on the other side. I'm going to try to put a battery right in here. Just build a little platform off of this. Comes out, goes across right here. But it's in right now. Not bolting it in at the moment. I don't really have a reason to. I'm busy going around doing things, so even if I do fix it, it's not going to be really driven right now at the moment. And like I said on Instagram, but that sits right like that on there. The fuel line I don't have hooked up, but it would run like that and then up into the tank, and this is where it would sit. Same thing with the belt underneath. You have to push the brake in. I like to have the engine slide it back, put it around the bottom one, then put it around the top one, get it all functional, and then while the brake is down, slide the engine up and start bolting it in while the belt is on it. That way you don't have to mess with the belt, because it would be tighter to get the belt on whenever it's bolted in first, So you're gonna have to like get it and pry it around and everything. But if you just put it on first, then move the engine forward, you have to worry about the bolts. And once you already get one bolt in, you're basically fine there, and it won't move on you or anything like that. So it's better to do it that way. At least I think so. So that's just going in the woods for now. Then that one's gonna be the new derby one, and this is gonna be off-road. Bye.